Hello, investors, and welcome back. Let's talk about Mullen Automotive. It's starting to lose some steam. You see that volume starting to decrease. Let's talk about what levels you want to be in and out of this. Is this a long-term play? Is this something that you want to be in? Is your money going to be better suited somewhere else? I've done 2 videos on this before. I want to do a quick video update on this, but let's talk about those macroeconomic indicators first, because what is happening in the general market and where should your money be? What should you be looking at? Of course, we have these inflationary pressures. The Fed spoke today talking about this 40-year high of inflation, more money chasing after fewer goods. Russia conflict will have global impacts that aren't completely understood by the market right now, bringing manufacturing back home. Cybersecurity continues to be a focus, and while you've seen a small pullback, a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about CrowdStrike, SentinelOne, and Mandiant, and out of those, their valuations were crazy, with Mandiant being the clear leader. And if this comes back to $16 range, you should check that out. Now, raising rates is going to happen, and we're starting to see that volatility in the market. I think it's firm and understood that this month, rates are going to raise. We're going to have to see how the market responds back to that. But there's going to be these inflationary pressures on gross margins, meaning the cost of goods sold is going to have much more pressure, and analysts are going to be more critical on the growth outlook of companies, especially as they come into this next quarter. It's going to be very telling when companies start talking about their quarterly earnings. Now, agriculture and meat packers and fertilizer, there's only 4 meat packers that control 80% of the meat supply. Now, I like being able to use free tools, and MooMoo does have a really good special right now, 5 free stocks. Link below. All you have to do is put $1, just $1 into an account, and you can see this gives you free level 2 data, market index. You can trade on other exchanges, and they have extended hours, 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. Be sure to check this out. I've got that link in the comments below. Let's get back to the video. Last week, we were seeing a focus on energy stocks, and those, for most of you, knew that they were high. 45% gain on Lightbridge. I talked about that in the Patreon in the last week. I meant congrats. Look for levels to take some off the table if you know it's way above the valuation. Now, if you're a long-term investor, then keep it where you got it. You're happy with your price point. If you think it's going to go lower, though, hey, nothing wrong with taking some off the table. I would say keep that position just in case it doesn't go lower, and look for opportunities to cost average down and get your price point even lower. Recheck that thesis every time you get an opportunity. Now, with the supply chains, the rerouting of planes, the closed airspace, the shipping delays, things being rerouted, destroying or disconnecting assets, you can see companies divesting from Russia with big write-offs. We haven't felt the impacts of this yet, and I continue to say that in this channel. I think that this is going to expedite energy independence in certain areas, but there's no coming back from this. No matter what the messaging is that Russia tells its own people, there's going to be long-term impacts from this crisis. Let's get straight into Mullen Automotive. As far as overall volume on Finviz, this was down about number 4. It started to lose some of its steam as far as trading, starting to climb back up after some consolidation this morning. It started to squeeze just a little bit, and then it retreated back very quickly once it hit that dollar range, that resistance. We'll take a look at the charts at the end of the video. Number 1 as far as trading volume on its sector and industry. So not only this, but I just wanted to show you, everything was red today with the Fed speaking and still trying to understand these macroeconomic indicators. So I would say I wouldn't be too concerned knowing that this entire sector has a negative performance today. So an opportunity on some of these to add to your position. You'll know what those levels are. Specifically, Mullen had a consolidation period. I would not buy this over $1. Now, is this a company that has long-term potential? Are you looking to buy, hold, or add to a position? If you're looking to start a position, the finances look terrible because they haven't actually delivered a vehicle, but you don't have to wait till 2024. In Q2, they're supposed to come out with the Mullen 1, and they do have 2 classes of a Class 1 commercial cargo van, and they've also got a Class 2 commercial cargo van that they're supposed to deliver these. A letter to the shareholder, they said that they will start delivering at the end of Q2. So maybe Q2 financials will not show money on the books, but the Q3 you should see something, Q4, and then you could see by this release here, newsletter on August 3rd, that they did have a 60 million agreement purchase order for 1,200 of these vehicles. So is this business a good long-term hold, or is it a short-term trade? And everyone is going to make a different decision. Now, if you think it's a long-term hold, you're counting on the fact that the vans are going to give this business enough revenue so they stay afloat till 2024, 2025, the end of 2024, so they can get the Mullen 5 into production, 2025, so they can get the second generation vehicle, the new battery technology that they were recently talking about that has that 600-mile range. It's going to take time, and they're going to need to burn a lot of cash until then. Now, cash flow is going to be important, but standing up new operations are very costly. Can they make it when there's other companies that have established a foothold in the market already? It's going to be leadership. It's going to be parts, it's going to be capacity, it's going to be everything that this company hasn't established or proven yet. Now, there's one thing that you can do in spite of speculation of short pressure on the stock. You can make sure you get in at the lowest price possible. And the way that you get in at the lowest price possible is by looking at your charts. So let's take it back to February 23rd when we noticed that this volume started to increase. I called out in the Discord that at 55 cents, you could mitigate your risk by getting in this play that it started to look like it was getting support around the 60-cent range. This ran up, and I put on the community tab on YouTube that 184 was a good exit point for those of you that didn't have long-term potential. You didn't see long-term potential in this play, and you just wanted it as a momentum play. Then you could have re-entered this play under $1 and you had a 12% run up on March 2nd. Now, if we go in closer and look at today's price action, you could see right here on March 3rd, this candlestick touched down here at 87.07. 87.07, that was the lowest point. If you were patient and you said, set it and forget it, 87.07, it touched again, and then it ran up to almost $1. It went to 101, where it met some resistance and came back down. Okay, let's talk about the resistance for just a moment. Now, if you look back here on March 2nd, you could see that this was the resistance on March 2nd. It didn't quite make it over 101. So I would say you want to try and connect as many data points as possible. If you bring it down here to 99 cents, you're probably even best. 0.9988 would be even better. If you wanted to even bring it down so it touches these candlesticks, you would bring it down to 996674. But you get the idea, and that's where you started to see this resistance here. Everyone is looking at the same charts, and that's why you're seeing this fluctuation. Now, how many people sold off? That's going to vary, and that's going to cause this downward pressure till you find support again. So I just want to zoom out so that way you can just appreciate the way this chart looks. And why would you buy anything higher than this up here? You don't want to be in this range up here. So that's why I've consistently said you want to get in under $1. Just to be a little bit more exact, I wanted to put some lines in here for you to look at. Now, I'm not watching this and giving updates minute by minute, so you'll have to find support. But for anybody that's in this above 89 cents, I would say there's just been too much evidence that you could get in much lower than that. Thank you so much for watching, and if you're looking for more information on the channel, you can look at the community tab. I post a lot of updates there about what's going on in the general market. Also, I do have a Patreon, and we've got a Discord. The Discord's absolutely free. The Patreon is as little as $5 to join to hear about those stocks that I don't cover in videos. Be disciplined out there, be greedy with your money, and I'll see you in the next video.